All right, for this episode of How Do You Hot Rod, I have Jeff Rogers and the Bad Bug. Hey everybody, I'm Randy Mann, and this is How Do You Hot Rod. This episode of How Do You Hot Rod is brought to you by V8 Auto Sales in Spokane, Washington. Jeff, thanks for coming out today and showing me this bug here. So tell me a little bit about this. What do we got? How long have you had it?
Okay. So this is a 1956 oval window VW bug. And I got it in the early 90s, started fixing it up, and 1994 was the first year I started racing it.
Okay.
And it ran 1180s to begin with at 110 mile an hour. And then over the years, I cranked up a little more, got 1050s at 128, all motor. Threw a little bit of nitrous on it back in 2002, ran a 935 at 145. Got tired of melting down parts like pistons and cylinder heads, got rid of the nitrous, went to a turbo. That's the way it is right now.
All right.
And I've ran 980 so far, but it should be capable of probably high to mid 8s once I crank it up.
Now, how many cc's is the engine approximately now?
The engine is 2553 cc's.
And what did it start as?
For this year of a bug, it would have been like only around 1100 cc's. But the engine case that it's built off of was a 2100 cc case.
Okay. So. Now, horsepower, how much does it seem to have these days?
With the current tune on it, it's made 531 horsepower to the rear tires. Okay. And I'm planning on turning it up a little bit.
Now, when you say how many horsepower you have you actually checked it on your dyno?
So I've checked it on different dynos. My dyno I purchased fairly recently, just got it last year.
Okay.
And I've been so busy doing customers' cars, I haven't actually tested it on my own dyno yet, but plan to hopefully here in a couple of weeks.
All right. So now, talking about the dyno, you actually have one, and it's your business, right?
Correct.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's RE Performance and Tuning. We have what we believe is the only all-wheel drive mobile dyno, pretty much in the Northwest.
Okay.
And it's, we take it to events, can test cars, we can do tuning. I rent it out for people that want to do their own tuning or remote tuning. Okay. And of course, I run the dyno during that time when they use it.
And you said you've had it for about a year?
Less than a year. We got it, I think it was the end of August, 1st of September of last year.
Okay.
We were supposed to have it earlier, but COVID put everything behind.
Gotcha. So. Approximately how many rigs have you had on there already?
I would say we've probably had close to 100 rigs on there already.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, now with the bug, obviously there's some modifications to the body.
Right.
What all have you done? I mean, I see some fiberglass.
Yeah. So the main body is made out of the original steel.
Okay.
The body itself, it's steel. The doors are steel.
Wow, really?
Yeah, the doors are steel.
Okay.
They're still steel.
Still steel.
Yeah, correctly.
Still.
Yeah, exactly. But they don't stand still.
Oh gosh, no.
Right, they're moving. Unless I blow the doors off something else, but which happens once in a while with a little slug bug. Yep. But the fenders are fiberglass. It's got a one-piece front end that's fiberglass.
Tilt?
Yeah, well, it's actually just removable, quick release, and it removes. Same with the fenders. It's designed that way. It's easier for maintenance.
Okay.
I can tear things apart, do work on it. And the fenders don't necessarily make it lighter. It just, they're wider for the tires that are on there. Mm-hmm. They're quick release with the Zeus fasteners. That way I can, get in there and do what I need to do.
Now, behind that engine, what do you have for transmission?
So the transaxle is actually out of a Volkswagen Vanagon.
Okay.
And the reason I upgraded from a bug transaxle to a Vanagon transaxle is the ring and pinion is larger, the case is larger, there's more gussets on the case, and it probably have like $8,000 worth of parts stuffed in there.
Wow.
Custom ring and pinion, custom spool, different gear ratios, everything to make it optimum for the quarter mile.
Okay.
And I do race both 1/8 mile and quarter mile.
All right. And I see you have a roll cage put into it.
Yeah, 14-point roll cage.
14 point. going as fast as you
Oh, yeah.
are, you got to have
Exactly.
that. Yep.
Yeah, and the cage is certified to 850.
Okay.
So as long as I don't go quicker than that, and if I do, if it ever does run faster than that, it's not too much work to make it good to 750.
Okay.
So.
Now, of course, racing, you got to have some sponsors, right?
Right.
So tell me a little bit about that and who they are.
Yeah, so my newest sponsor that I acquired is Euro Union.
Okay.
And, they're a Volkswagen Audi shop.
That wouldn't happen to be where we're standing.
That's exactly where we are in their showroom. So I have it on display here too. We're looking forward to taking it out to the racetrack here in Spokane as soon as it gets opened back up.
Okay.
But I also plan on, making it to Wallowa and Yakima this year.
Nice.
Another one of my sponsors is Rocky Jennings Enterprises, and it's also a Volkswagen shop down in Wallowa. Mm-hmm. And then Rainbow Shine was one sponsor, but that's recently gone a different direction.
Okay.
And then CP Pistons and Crillo Rods. They're a minor sponsor. They give me a great discount on pistons and connecting rods, as I keep this thing together.
All right.
And then on the nose of the car, once you kind of go around there, our dyno business, RE Performance and Tuning.
Okay.
So I've also got 509 Metalworks.
Oh, yes, Phil.
Phil. He actually makes my copper gaskets. So my copper head gaskets, copper exhaust gaskets, he makes those for me.
Shameless plug here. If anybody needs metal work done in the Spokane area, get a hold of 509 Metalworks. They're amazing people.
Yep, he's a good guy.
Now, Buggerama Racing Series.
So that was a series down in Sacramento that I had competed with in the past, but I haven't in many years. So just left the sticker on there. Maybe someday I'll make it south
cool,
again.
Right?
It does look cool.
Couple more years, it'll go vintage.
Exactly.
Hold on a second. I think I recognize that. Is that what I think it is?
There is.
Tell me about that.
So back in 1996, here in Spokane, out at the drag strip, John Forrest, I think it was his last year racing out here, I went up to him to get an autograph, and he's like, "Oh, would you like an autograph on your shirt?" I'm like, "Sure," but I said, "Also, could you autograph my race bug?" And he's like, "Sure, bring it over." So I brought it over there, part of the crowd, said, "Here you go." And he's like, "Where do you want me to autograph?" And I said, "I'd like it on the dash." So he crawled inside my bug, autographed the dash for me. So the force is with me.
Anything else you'd like to add about this?
It's fuel injected, turbocharged, intercooled. I have four-wheel disc brakes, parachute. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So once you hit 150, you have to have a parachute. I've only gone 145 so far, but I haven't turned it up yet. So
okay.
It should be able to do 160 plus once I add a little more boost.
Nice. So. Now, this one's not streetable at all, correct?
It isn't, but funny you should ask that. We're in the process of changing it to where it's going to be street legal.
Really?
Yeah. So I've got a few things in the works, which I'll have to keep quiet at the moment, but yeah, top secret ninja stuff. But one of the things is that if I want to go to some of these nostalgia events for older cars, because it's a 56, for street legal only, I'll have that option with it actually licensed, registered, and get lights back on. I'm going to go with LED lights, so it'll be a little less energy draw.
Okay.
And so we are actually probably maybe in a month or two have it actually licensed and registered.
Very nice.
Probably won't drive it too often.
Now, speaking of street legal and registered and licensed,
right.
You have another one.
I do.
All right. Well, let's go check it out.
Sounds good.
All right, Jeff, tell me about this one.
So this one's my street bug.
Okay.
I bought this back in March of 1978 when I was 14 years old. So I've had, what is that, like 44 years now I've owned this bug.
Wow.
Most of my life. And I just started fixing it up.
Okay.
And it became my daily driver. I've driven it all over. I've driven it down to Phoenix. I've driven it to Seattle.
Wow.
I raced it for a lot of years. Started racing it in 1981. And raced it all the way through 1993 until I built the race bug.
Wow.
And
now, mirrors are definitely a little different.
Yeah, mirrors are a little different.
Okay.
Wider fenders, took away a lot of the trim that used to be on it, filled all the holes in.
I was going to say, it looks like you filled the...
Yeah, molded that in.
Okay. added the Ferrari-esque. Yeah?
Yep. And they're actually functional.
Okay.
With testing, it reduces the cylinder head temperature by about 50 degrees.
On the back, you've got that whale tail.
Correct.
And you built that yourself out of fiberglass?
Myself out of fiberglass.
Wow.
It also reverse tilts.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It opens up, and then it's quick release. I did that mainly from when I used to drag race. I wanted to be able to get into the engine quick to work on it.
Okay. Engine-wise, what do you have in there?
The engine's a 2110cc.
Okay.
Originally started out as a 1600. So I'm making about double the stock horsepower. It used to make quadruple the stock horsepower, but I detuned it once I built the race bug, so it'd be a little more practical.
Okay.
And it's got two barrel Webers on it, so it's a little peppy still.
What does it run speed-wise, quarter mile in time?
It would probably, now it used to run low 13s. After I detuned it, probably mid 15s. And I would never do this on the street, but I may have actually had it up to 120 miles an hour in its current trim.
Wow. Now, do you still have basically the stock interior in there?
It's been modified a little bit. Unfortunately, it's pretty ratty because I built this car in the mid 80s.
Okay.
So it really needs to be redone. If you look close, there's a lot of flaws in the paint, but we're hoping in the next year or two to completely go over it again.
Okay. But you drive it.
I drive it.
Is it a daily driver?
It's a daily driver.
It is a
yes.
daily driver. And you did something with the headlights and the turn signals, if I recall.
Yeah, I modified it. I was kind of tired of sometimes coming up to four-way stops where people wouldn't know what I was doing next.
Okay.
So I modified it to where the headlights flash and alternate with the turn signals. And I did that with relays.
Okay.
So,
what else have you done to this?
So when I chose the color, interesting thing, I wanted the brightest yellow I could find.
Okay.
And I didn't know that much about paint, and I found out that there's actually a mixing yellow that a lot is the base roll out of. So this is actually the mixing yellow for a Porsche yellow and a Corvette yellow, and it's called light chrome yellow.
Interesting.
And so it's really bright. You know, if the sun was on it right now, it would be blinding. So. This one also has four-wheel disc brakes.
Okay.
I have drop front spindles, gas shocks, heavy-duty sway bars front and rear, and this thing moves like a little slot car.
Wow.
You know, so it handles like a Porsche, accelerates, so it's, you know, and having a Volkswagen engine instead of a Porsche engine gives a little better bragging rights.
Now, are there any future plans for it besides, like you were saying, with the paint? And...
pretty much just gonna redo it, kind of like it is, but I am eventually gonna convert it over to fuel injection and a little tiny turbo.
little tiny turbo.
Not like the race car that has a 68 millimeter turbo. This one will be a little one.
All right, Jeff, I appreciate you giving me some time and showing me this bug and the other one outside. I hope I can see these things racing here in Spokane pretty soon.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Keep on bugging. Remember, kids, bugs, not drugs. Bugs.
All right, everybody, thanks for watching this episode of How Do You Hot Rod. I'll have a new one coming soon, but in the meantime, I'm still looking for sponsors to help keep this show going. So if you're interested, please contact me at howdoyouhotrod@yahoo.com or through Facebook at How Do You Hot Rod. Y'all have a good day.